It's a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Wisconsin.
It's a beautiful Friday night in St. Louis, Missouri, the gateway to the West and the famous Arch, and they are expecting a sellout crowd tonight at Busch 3. The Milwaukee Brewers, the St. Louis Cardinals, the National League Central Division showdown tonight. Ryan Braun, he's going along well this year. He'll face a lefty tonight in Jaime Garcia. Look at the numbers. They jump off the page against lefties. And then Matt Carpenter, he's been a Brewer killer all season long. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Busch Stadium. Great to have you with us here tonight. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Telly Hughes is our reporter this evening. And we start tonight's broadcast. We get right into the pitching matchup because you got a guy in Jaime Garcia who's struggling here lately, but had a great game against the Brewers earlier this year, and he's matching up against Matt Garza.
Yeah, Matt Garza's been pretty good in making his fourth start since coming off the disabled list. In all honesty, he's had pretty good stuff. I mean, last time out, he beat the Washington Nationals. He pitched 6 innings. That's the longest he's been able to go so far. 4 earned runs, but he did have some problems with some walks. He's been bending but not breaking in his start so far this year, and certainly he's going to have to be good early in the game. This St. Louis Cardinals offense has been very good, so he's going to have to be in good command of that curveball. And Jaime Garcia has always been a Brewer killer, but you can see what he's been able to do. His last 8 starts have not gone very well. Earned run average almost at 6. Jaime Garcia has only won one game in his last 5 starts, and before that, that 3-2 record in his first 7 included a 1-hit shutout against the Brewers here at Busch Stadium. So the Brewers have their work cut out for him against a soft-throwing lefty who has 10 career wins against Milwaukee.
So that is the pitching matchup. Brewers-Cardinals game 1 of this series. St. Louis is struggling right now. Believe it or not, they've lost 7 consecutive home games. They've had 3 straight sweeps here at Busch Stadium. Jeff and Davey have more on that right after this.
Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. The Brewers will begin a 6-game road trip in St. Louis with a 3-game weekend series at Busch Stadium against the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis is submerged in one of their toughest stretches of the season, having suffered 7 straight home defeats, and that's the longest streak since 1983. Meanwhile, Milwaukee will not have any sympathy for St. Louis as they are in a tough stretch of games against teams with winning records. All in all, the Crew has competed well against teams above 500, especially if a few of those one-run losses went the other way. The Brewers are in the middle of a stretch where they play 26 of 28 games against teams with winning records, and Craig Counsell talks about what it takes to have more success.
You have to do more right in these games to win them, and so, you know, you saw in the one-run losses felt like they've kind of added up a little bit in this stretch, but that highlights that even more for me, is that you know, that every pitch and every play matters.
Coming up, can the Brew Crew take advantage of a Cardinals club that has dropped 7 straight at home? BA and Rock will be back for the first pitch and call between the Brewers and Cardinals next from St. Louis.
Unreal. And Holiday turns that one around. That is way gone. Lucroy way back, and there she goes. Brewers baseball tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. And there is Matt Garza with the pitching coach, Derek Johnson, making his way on to the field here at Busch Stadium, St. Louis. It is a perfect night for the grand old game. 81 degrees. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Telly Hughes, our reporter tonight. Dan Keener producing. Adam Bryant III is our director. Craig Counsell, year number 2, his first full season as a big league skipper. And he's hoping this Brewers club can have some success on the road after a 2-7 road trip last time around. They've got 3 in St. Louis, 3 in D.C. to face the Nationals, 2 very good opponents. Potawatomi batting order for Council tonight. Jonathan Villar leads off. Aaron Hill's back in the 2 spot with Ryan Braun batting 3rd. In the middle, it goes Jonathan Lucroy, who's had a great year against the Cardinals this year. Chris Carter, and then Hernan Perez to follow. And the bottom 3 for Council, it's Scooter Gennett, Keon Broxton, and Matt Garza rounding out the starting 9. That will match up against left-hander Jaime Garcia.
There you can see 15 starts. He's got 1 complete game. That happened against Milwaukee. It was a 1-hit shutout here at Busch Stadium in mid-April. A 4.09 earned run average. He's been struggling as of late. He's got 1 win in his last 5 starts for the Cardinals, and he's got 10 wins career against the Brewers. Let's check out the Menards defense behind Jaime Garcia here tonight. The Cardinals defense, they are one of the worst teams defensively in all of baseball. They've committed 62 errors. That's last in the National League. But they do have Yadier Molina, the Gold Glove catcher, behind home plate.
Noticeably absent from that lineup, Stephen Piscotty's out with a foot injury, but active. Jerry Meals will call the balls and strikes tonight. Sean Barber, Ron Kolpa, Chris Conroy make up the 3 base umpires, and all the pieces put in place, and we're ready for baseball from Busch Stadium, St. Louis. First ball swinging, Jonathan Villar, and away we go. Now Villar comes in with a batting average of .299, 6 homers, 30 runs batted in, just 2 for 12 against the Cardinals this year, but he does interplay as the #1 base stealer in all of Major League Baseball. And the Brewers as a team lead baseball in steals, and Villar turns one around and a base knock to start it tonight.
Well, always good to be able to jump on the Cardinals early, especially in front of this home crowd. And Cardinals lost 7 straight home games, and Garcia, one of the issues that he's had as of late, location, not really able to put his fastball where he wants it. Got to keep the baseball down, doesn't throw hard.
Garcia had the best game of his career against Milwaukee in that mid-April start, that 1-hit shutout. Been a struggle for him. The starting pitching has struggled for the Cardinals. It's always been an area of talent for St. Louis. You remember the days with Chris Carpenter and Adam Wainwright and all their great starting pitchers. Well, Wainwright's still in there, but nobody's really dominating in that rotation. Cardinals have banged their way to a record hovering around 500 right now. As that skips out of the glove of Molina, he falls down, and Villar to second base, and you might be able to hear the groans and the grumbles here with Cardinal fans, because Rock, you hit the errors, but this is a team that is just not executing and not performing well defensively.
That's certainly one that Yadier Molina is, should get. That should be a pass ball, but you don't know how they're going to score it. But takes away a potential double play. Double play is a big part of what the Cardinals do defensively. The second most double plays turned in the National League.
So Aaron Hill with a man in scoring position now, as Garcia misses.
And that's something you rarely see from Yadier Molina. He's one of the best in the business. I mean, a very good receiver back there, to say the least. Just clanks that one, and the Brewers get a break. A man in scoring position already.
Up until the latest release of the All-Star voting, Molina had been leading the way in the fan vote. Buster Posey has taken over that top spot. There's a strike from Garcia, and it's 2-1 on Aaron Hill. Dead last in fielding percentage, the most errors in the major leagues as well. National League with 62.
And very unlike a St. Louis Cardinal ball club. They're normally pretty tight defensively. Goes hand in hand, good defense and good pitching.
Cardinals lost last night as Hill on the ground to short. Aledmus Diaz back in the starting lineup tonight, and a low throw dug out by Adams. There's out number 1. Diaz had been out. He missed the last 3 games with an eye injury, and you see the remnants of that on that right eye. He and Stephen Piscotty are injured, but not so injured that they're out of the active roster. So Piscotty is available tonight, but probably needs another day or 2. He's got a nasty foot injury, a lot of swelling in that area. Was hit by a pitch, and then he was hit by a fly ball in foul territory, believe it or not.
Good bat to have out of the lineup. I mean, he can hit Got some pop. But Ledmus Diaz, one of those guys that has really opened up a lot of eyes. I mean, tremendous offensive season for him. A rookie at shortstop, making all the plays. Almost threw that one away.
One away. Here's Ryan Braun. Got a runner at second. He has been a red hot hitter here lately. Braun is surging right now. 11-game hit streak. He's hitting .325 overall. 13 home runs and 44 driven in. Had a 4 RBI game on Wednesday night against the Dodgers. Brewers dropped 2 out of 3 to LA after winning 2 out of 3 from the Nationals, so an even homestand for him. VR takes off. Braun puts one in play. It's on the ground to short, and a tough play by Diaz. He gets Braun, a speedy base runner, and that's out number 2.
And he makes that sidearm flip over to first base look easy. It's anything but. He's able to get a lot on it. Sidearm, and ball sails. You got to play that slice as it gets out there over to first base, and it makes it look easy. Gets Braun by a couple of steps.
Well, that is one long throw that he just made look very short. He's been a great story for him, a rookie shortstop. He's been so good for him that the Cardinals have moved Johnny Peralta, their starting shortstop last year, and an all-star. He is now the third baseman. Moving Matt Carpenter over to second base. They've had a lot of changes in their roster, just trying to find the right combination that probably leads to a lot of the defensive breakdowns.
And some of the missed plays that aren't in the book as errors. Colton Wong, their second baseman's been playing in the outfield.
Here's Lucroy now. 2 outs, runner at third. Just underway from Busch Stadium. And Molina smothers that one with VR at third.
And it just made up for the pass ball. Not easy to block. Change up, and Molina able to keep it in front of him.
Always enjoy watching these two catchers go to work in these series, Cardinals Brewers, with Lucroy and Molina, 2 excellent backstops. Lucroy brings more offense to the table, but no doubt Molina is one of the best ever defensively behind the plate. But he is aging like we all are, and in baseball years he's losing a step or two.
Still leads
a long hot season.
Yeah, still leads all of baseball in innings caught this year, and just keeps chugging along, doesn't he?
He did have a day off yesterday, a rare day off for him. Cardinals finally got Brian Pena back from a knee injury, and he started that finale last night against the Royals. Lucroy strikes out. A promising start to the inning, and Garcia retires the next 3. Brewers come up empty. Off single, get a runner in third, but come up empty in the first. And now Matt Garza to face Mike Matheny's St. Louis Cardinals. Year number 5 for the former Brewer catcher and a former Gold Glove catcher at that. He's been to the postseason each of his first 4 years in St. Louis, and that spot certainly in question this year with the Cardinals coming in just 2 games over 500. Potawatomi batting order with Carpenter, Aledmys Diaz, and Matt Holliday. And then in the middle, Brandon Moss gets to start in right, Johnny Peralta, and then Matt Adams. Yadier Molina does the catching, Tommy Pham in center, and Jaime Garcia rounding out the starting 9 that will face Matt Garza. Another player coming back from the disabled list, and he's been good. This will be his 4th start since returning from the lat injury.
Yeah, he's been putting men on base, but for the most part, has been able to pitch his way out of it. He's got that 281 earned run average. He won his last start against the Washington Nationals, 4 runs in 6 innings for Garza. Making start number 13 career against the Cardinals.
Garza, a 4-4 record, an ERA just over 4 in his previous 12 starts against St. Louis, and some of those coming as a member of the Chicago Cubs. 2 starts last year. Garza only surrendered 4 earned runs in 11 2/3 innings against the Cardinals. ERA of 3.09. Had pretty good numbers against them last season. Carpenter, as we showed you, has been the Brewer killer. This is the one guy that Garza will try to take down a notch. And a little half swing with the shift on. Beyond coming in, bare hands, throws, not in time. Close. Even when you get a swing like that from Carpenter, he's able to beat it out for a hit.
Yeah, that looked pretty close. A little check swing, and because of the shift, it was a difficult play for Jonathan Villar. You can see where he is, and picks it up with the bare hand, and Carpenter gets down that line pretty good. And Craig Counsell satisfied that the call's correct.
Counsell did step up to the top step, alerting the umpires he wanted to take a look, and now waves it off. So on we go here. Leadoff single for Carpenter. That brings up Aledmys Diaz. Just back in the starting lineup. Just 3 games. Took batting practice in the cage yesterday. He tried to bunt his way on. You just wonder how he feels standing at the plate. This is what happened on Monday. A foul ball came up and hit him in the eye, in the right eye, and it swole shut. He couldn't see after this game and has not been available in that entire Royal Series after that. You see the black eye he's still sporting on that right side. He lines one to left. That's going to go to the wall. Carpenter off to the races, and he is going to try to score. Villar gets the cutoff, no throw. They've got Diaz if they want him in a rundown. Carpenter's in, and now the Brewers trying to execute the rundown. Way too many throws here. Jeanette does get the tag on him. The Brewers second baseman way over there at third.
What's that? 5 throws? Goodness gracious.
It'll be an RBI double for Diaz.
Curveball from Garza down in the strike zone, and Aledmys Diaz continues to swing a hot bat, ripping that one down in the corner. Thinking that the throw is going to come to home plate to try and get Carpenter. Diaz continues to go toward third base. Ryan Braun doing a good job hitting the cutoff man, and finally, after a number of throws, they're able to tag him out. And that's one of those zip code putouts right there. When you look at the putout, was that 6 throws?
It goes 7 to 6, 3 to 5 to 6 to 4. 6 throws in all, and a couple of guys out of position doing a good job. Carter coming into second base following the runner, and Scooter Gennett ends up all the way over at third base to make that play.
Well, they got the out. RBI double for Aledmys Diaz.
I really don't have room in my scorebook box to write all that in, so I'll just remember it.
All right, I'm going to write it in.
Matt Holliday with one away. He's got 15 home runs this year. Always a tough battle with Holliday anytime a Brewer pitcher is on the mound. You know what the Cardinals are thinking coming into this series, Rock? The Brewers hear it just about everywhere they go. A struggling team waiting for a rebuilding team to come to town, and that narrative is getting very tiresome for the Brewers to hear. And that was a big topic of discussion after last night's game.
And the thing is, I mean, the Brewers have been in just about every game. I mean, it's not often that they get, run out of the ballpark. It was a rough day at the ballpark for them yesterday, but for the most part, I mean, they either had the lead or very close or able to come back, and it's been very frustrating for everybody.
And Milwaukee would love nothing more than to keep this losing streak going for St. Louis. They've lost 7 consecutive games at home. Got to go back to the early 80s to find a losing streak of that nature for the Cardinals. Full count to Holliday and a swing and a grounder right to Jeanette. And that'll be out number 2. Cardinals at home. This is a shocking statistic for them this year. They've always been such a great home team. But during this streak, they're only scoring 2 runs a game, and they rely heavily on their offense. They've had a ton of 1-run losses. Their bullpen has struggled. A lot of errors in that stretch. And I think that bullpen ERA really speaks to what Mike Matheny's concerns are right now. He does not have the set roles anymore that every manager wants.
Yeah, Trevor Rosenthal taken out of the closer role, and he had an earned run average over 9 in the month of June. So he's glad that July is here. Inconsistent closer work and very poor defense all year for the Cardinals, and one of the reasons that they have struggled somewhat.
Cardinals with a record of 40-38. They've got a lot of home run clout, though. This is one of the most prolific home run hitting teams in the National League. Moss has 17. Only the Nationals have hit more home runs than the St. Louis Cardinals this year. And they have 3, actually 4 in double digits with Diaz. You got 3 candidates, legitimate candidates for 30 home run seasons in St. Louis this season.
Yeah, home run's a big part of what they do. As you mentioned, only the Nationals have hit more, and they've only hit 1 more home run. Yeah, Cardinals second in the league in, or I should say third in the league in runs scored. No problem with run production.
They had 2 home runs last night. They were both solo shots. Moss hit 1. As a matter of fact, Moss hit the longest home run ever recorded here at Busch Stadium version 3, the new Busch. 477 feet they measured the home run last night.
Wow.
When you see where this one lands, you'll understand why. This is a spot I have never seen a home run, nor has anybody ever seen a home run here. Deep into the bleachers in right center field.
Yikes.
Full count, and Moss takes ball 4. 2-out walk given up by Garza.
And Moss has 17 home runs, and he's only got 203 at bats. So when you talk about home runs per at bat, he's on a pretty good pace.
He's aboard for Johnny Peralta, who homered yesterday. Was 2 for 4. Cardinals lost 3 out of 4 to Kansas City. Their home and home American League rival, I-70 series. Peralta missed 57 games. A thumb injury. Didn't return until June 7th, so he's been at it a little over 3 weeks. High fly ball to right field. And that'll be easy enough for Perez, and that will retire the side. An eventful first for Garza. 2 hits, Cardinals on the board, an RBI from Diaz.
And have live broadcast, scoring updates, breaking news, and more right at your fingertips with MLB.com @Bat, the official app of the Brewers. Download @Bat today free for your smartphone or tablet.
Here's Chris Carter. He'll start the second inning for the Brewers. The Cardinals scoring in the first. RBI double by Diaz. And Carter into center field. That is way back there. Turning and running is Pham, and there she goes. Chris Carter with a flick of the wrist goes dead central, and the Brewers tie it up just like that. That is number 20 for Chris Carter.
Yeah, one of the issues that Garcia's had is giving up home runs as of late, but how strong is this guy? Talk about it all the time. First pitch. Fastball right down the middle at 92 miles an hour. Not a lot of movement on it, and Carter gets good extension. Dead center. Pham runs out of room, so the Brewers tie it up.
Carter with tremendous power. He's having a great year in that category. He is 2 off the National League lead. 2 players have hit 22 this year. As Hernan Perez with a big swing and a miss.
Big bullet.
Had that sound, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Powerball home run count number 20. Into dead center for Chris Carter.
Adam Duvall of the Reds, Chris Bryant of the Cubs have hit 22 apiece. Nolan Arenado's at 21, and then there's Carter. He's coming off a record-setting month of June in Major League Baseball for home runs hit across the league. And Carter's starting it the right way. Bouncing ball to third. Tough play. Fair ball. Long throw for Alta. No chance. And Perez is in with an infield single. Got the uniform dirty just in case.
Trying to avoid a tag, I guess, but just trying to get to first base as quickly as he can, sniffing base hit. See Peralta playing behind the back. He's actually way on the grass down the third baseline. No chance to get Perez. So an infield hit for Hernan Perez, and Brewers keep it going here in the second inning.
Home run, infield single, nobody out. Here's Scooter Gennett. Got the vote of confidence from his manager once again today, getting a start against a left-handed starting pitcher. And I thought it was interesting what Craig Counsell told Telly in the pregame session with the reporters. He's being a little cryptic, but you get a feeling either there's some numbers that back it up or he's just playing a straight hunch. But he said, yeah, I like this matchup tonight. Jeanette against Garcia.
Well, I'll tell you what it does. I mean, Jaime Garcia, maybe one of his best pitches or his best pitches is changeup, and he probably is not going to really throw too many to left-handed batters. So you take away one of his best pitches, and you're left with slider and fastball.
They've been in the same division for a while, but believe it or not, Jeanette only has 4 at-bats in his career against Garcia, and he's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. So when I say Counsell's looking at the stats, it's not the head-to-head matchups, we promise you that, but there's something else that he feels comfortable with Jeanette. He says he's earned that right.
He's hitting near 300 against lefties this year. I mean, he's much better. I mean, so the stats before, you can throw those out the window. Scooter's been getting a lot of at-bats against lefties and had some success. So this is a good matchup. I agree. Garcia not a hard thrower. Doesn't have that electric slider that can put you away. Yeah, hitting .289 against lefties with a couple of homers.
Was just named the Brewers Player of the Month for the month of June, Scooter Jeanette. And Jeanette lines one, caught at third. Peralta makes the play for the out. They had a bit of a shift on. He was really covering the hole, and it takes a hit away from Jeanette.
Yeah, good job by Scooter going with it. Yeah, it was an 0-2 pitch, a breaking ball that Garcia looked like he left right down the middle of the plate, and Jeanette hit a bullet. Unfortunately, Peralta able to make the play.
Look how far he is positioned over in the hole. Tough break for Jeanette, but I think that at bat right there validates Craig Counsell's hunch. So Keon Broxton now with Perez at first, and Broxton sending one to right. Perez takes off, and he'll have to retreat as Moss makes the catch for out number 2.
And retreat quickly.
I'm not sure if Hernan thought there were 2 outs or if he just wanted to sprint to a spot as far as he could and then make a judgment. He's typically a very good base runner.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He knew how many outs there were.
Not a bad play. Run as hard as you can to a spot and then wait to see what happens. But he had to scamper back. So that'll bring up Garza now. Garza, for his career as a hitter, is an .088 hitter. Doesn't sound right to call him an 88 hitter. His career batting average is .088. Last season, he was down a step, .77. And there's a ground ball, throw up the line a bit, but easy tag for Adams. Garza's out and the inning is over, but started with a bang. Chris Carter, home run number 20, 423 feet to center field. We're all tied at 1 in St. Louis. Carter, his 20th of the year, all leaving at 1. Hey, a reminder that all the baseball superstars come together for the primetime event that will light up the summer. It's the MLB All-Star Game from San Diego. It's coming up July 12th, only on Fox. John Smoltz, Joe Buck, St. Louis native Joe Buck will have the call, along with Ken Rosenthal. Aaron Andrews will be there. It's going to be a great day. Got the home run derby the night before, the Futures game. Brewers will have one of their big prospects, Josh Hader, participating in the Futures game. And then the All-Star game. Always looking forward to All-Star Week.
Home run hitting competition. Always a lot of fun on Monday. Yep. 2-day extravaganza baseball.
And San Diego is going to make a great host. One of the more picturesque ballparks. Downtown setting right there in the Gaslamp District. Looking forward to that.
And the Brewers have a few worthy players that could be in San Diego.
Well, certainly Ryan Braun's having an all-star year, and he really hopes to make it to Southern California for the all-star game. Would be his 7th. Back to work for Garza, bottom of the 2nd now. Here's Matt Adams to start it. Cards have 4 left-handed hitters in their lineup, one of them being the pitcher. Adams a little bit down with the power numbers. He has not been the everyday first baseman that the Cardinals thought he might be. Mixing and matching over there. Early in the year, they had Matt Holliday playing some first base. Scotty's gotten some time at first.
We see him before batting practice. The Cardinals do a little infield work, and see Holliday over there every day taking ground balls and working on short hops at first base. So maybe down the road for Holliday.
The question Mike Matheny has every day is if Brandon Moss is swinging the bat well and they feel like they have to get him in the lineup. As Adams goes, he was unable to check his swing. And a strikeout for Garza. That's his first out of the inning.
Good breaking pitch that time from Garza. And yep, he went. Good call down there at third base. Chris Conroy.
Players never think they swing.
Adrian Gonzalez,
do they not.
Adrian Gonzalez
That's right.
got tossed out of a game for doing just a little bit more than what Adams just did.
Yes, he did. So here's Molina with 1 out. And on the first pitch, a liner to right coming in. Perez to make the play for out number 2.
Let's check out the Brewers Menards defense. Perez making a nice play on a line drive. He's out in the right. You got Braun and Broxton in the outfield. Got Hill, VR, Jeanette, and Carter from third to first. And once again, Jonathan Lucroy behind home plate. Martin Maldonado got the start yesterday at Miller Park. So Lucroy a day off yesterday.
2 outs. Here is Tommy Pham. And he swings at the first pitch right to Aaron Hill. And a nice clean inning for Matt Garza with a strikeout. 1, 2, 3 go to Cardinals. We go to the 3rd in St. Louis.
baseball. Fernando Rodney was acquired by the Marlins from San Diego for a minor league pitcher. So far, Rodney has a 0.31 earned run average with 17 saves in 28 games. Clayton Kershaw was placed on the 15-day disabled list, prompting the Dodgers to make a trade for Bud Norris to help bolster that starting rotation. And the Cleveland Indians won their 14th straight game, defeating the Toronto Blue Jays on Canada Day by a Carlos Santana home run in the 19th inning of Jays Darwin Barney. Yeah.
Right, Darwin Barney, the position
Barney,
player.
the second baseman.
What a season and what a summer this has been for sports fans in Cleveland, right? The Cavaliers win the NBA championship, and this was the home run off an infielder. Santana launched one in the 19th, and the Tribe 6.5 games ahead.
19 innings. Good for them.
VR up the middle, going to be a tough play, ranging over. Diaz throws on the run. Man, this guy is making it look easy out there. The body control, a glove and a throw, all in one motion, and VR is out.
Yeah, very athletic, pretty much playing straight away. I mean, that's no shift at all. And he gets VR by a good 2-3 steps. Diaz has committed 14 errors this year, which is a lot, but you don't watch him every day. A lot of them probably throws, but he has been very solid defensively.
Now, those who do watch him every day say most of those errors came early. As a rookie, I'm sure the nerves and the parameters of what he can and can't do at the big league level were a big part of it. But he looks like a good one for a while. I think the Cardinals have found their shortstop. It's been a revolving door until Peralta looked like he'd settled into that job, but they knew that was always going to be somewhat temporary. Hill to Diaz. Guns won the first for out number 2. You know, you look at the Indians record, the fact that they've won 14 straight. They're 6.5 up, as Telly mentioned. All of the division races in Major League Baseball right now are at least 5 games or more, right? Baltimore has the closest division race going with Boston, and they're 5 games up on the Red Sox. Indians are up 6.5. Rangers are up 8.5 on the Astros, despite the Astros winning 9 out of 10. And then in the National League, the Nationals are 6 games up. Cubs are 11 games up on the Cardinals. And then the Giants 6 ahead of the Dodgers, and the Dodgers going to be without Clayton Kershaw for a while.
The Giants have 50 wins. They're 50 and 31. Everybody talking about how dominant the Chicago Cubs have started out this season. They've lost 6 of 10. They've won 51 games. Texas Rangers have won 51 games. So there's a lot of pretty good teams in baseball, kind of the haves and have-nots this year.
And that is why this month coming up, July, is going to be very interesting on the trade front. Braun on the ground, and this is going to be 3 up, 3 down, 3 straight 6-3 putouts, and actually 4 in a row going back to last inning for Garcia.
Louis, bottom of the third, and Cooperstown comes to Milwaukee as the National Baseball Hall of Fame debuts a state-of-the-art traveling exhibit at Miller Park that will run from Friday, July 15th through Sunday the 31st. Go to halloffametour.com to learn more. That's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Go through that.
Very excited about that coming to town. We are
no kidding.
Looking forward to that. Take advantage of that, fans. That is something special that they have put together as their traveling show. And we'll bring you as much of it as we can, but we want to see you out there. Matt Garza back to work as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Jaime Garcia leads off.
Have you ever been to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown?
I have. It's terrific.
Holy grail of baseball for sure. And that's a good starting point right there. If you've never been, check out that traveling exhibit. It's going to be fun.
Brewers played a game there before my time here. When was that, Rock? That was
a long time ago. Yeah, that was when
the 90s?
Kirby Puckett was inducted into Hall of Fame that year, if I'm not mistaken. They played the Toronto Blue Jays at Doubleday Field.
That reminds me of a specialty game that's going to be happening at Fort Bragg 4th of July. I'm very much looking forward to that too. They built a beautiful stadium on that facility.
Stars and Spikes Field. Good name.
Yeah. So that's going to be something to pay attention to. Braves and Marlins involved in that one. Some great stories, great features coming out of that. Got over 250,000 men and women that call Fort Bragg home. It's the largest in the U.S.
Yeah, one of the great airborne units in our country.
Garza picks up his second K. He strikes out his mound opponent, Garcia. And at the top of the order, Matt Carpenter.
They say that stadium that Major League Baseball built on Fort Bragg, it was the site of an old golf course, and it's going to seat 14,000 people.
I love it.
Not bad.
There's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on for Independence Day. 4th of July Monday. Brewers will be in Washington, D.C. Quickly 0-2 on Carpenter. Carpenter's season batting average is at .299. So someone's getting him out, but the Brewers just have not done so very often. He's hitting up over .480 against Milwaukee this year in 7 games. Had an infield hit and a run scored in the first. Carpenter is back playing second base these days. He's had a few starts at first. Was an all-star as the third baseman. Came back with a power year last year as far as home runs go. Set a career high. He had home runs last year with 28 of them.
And a terrific leadoff hitter. I mean, he'll take his walks. He'll steal a base for you once in a while. He's got great speed. We saw his speed when he was able to score from first base on that double to left.
He's one of the premier leadoff hitters in the game. You don't hear a whole lot about Carpenter. He's very understated. And the fact that he can play multiple positions gives you a lot of flexibility. He is currently leading the National League in OPS right now from the leadoff spot. He's at .999 OPS, combining on base and slugging percentage. Second in on base, fourth in slugging, and all the categories he's in the top 4 in. You couldn't ask for a better leadoff man.
Well, the leadoff man is a guy that gets the offense going, right? And he does a good job of it. In that Kansas City series, that 2-game series here at Busch, he was 1 for 7. So the Royals figured out ways to get him out.
He's led the league in walks. Last year led the league in doubles. Twice he's led the league in doubles in his career. That one's hit hard center field, way back there. Broxton will make the catch at the track. And those deep fly balls go to die at Busch Stadium.
Yeah, I think Carpenter thought he got one there because his reaction was, "You got to be kidding me." He barrels this one up pretty good. Right there, I think he thinks he has a big fly and a home run, and kind of tracking it. Watch the way he reacts when he gets to first base. Kidding me. And Broxton able to make that catch easily. Not even on the warning track, or barely.
And a little jam shot. Diaz swinging at the first pitch. Villar high throw. It's up the line, and Diaz is safe.
Kind of a lazy throw over there at shortstop. Dropped the arm, didn't put much on it, and off the mark. Boy, you can't do that. You can't give these guys extra outs. Not the way they can swing the bat. That's about as routine as it gets. It's short. You don't see Villar make those kind of mistakes very often. Not a good time to make one. Pulls Carter off the bag, and the inning continues. That'll be an E6.
It's going to be error number 15 for Villar. Plays just about every day. It's a high number of errors. Watching him every day, you don't get the sense that he's struggling defensively. He makes great plays. He's incredibly gifted with big range and a big arm. So I think a lot of that is because of his range and the chances that he takes. Sometimes he takes too many chances, but not on that occasion. That was one.
Yeah, just
you got to put in the pocket.
Too much of a nonchalant throw to first.
So that means Matt Holliday gets an at bat, and extra pitches for Garza. Holliday grounded out in the first inning. He thought he had drawn a walk, and then Garza was able to come back and get him on a ground ball to Jeanette. 2 outs, 1-1 game. We're in the bottom of the third. Cardinals got a run in the first on an RBI double from Diaz, and then Chris Carter hit a home run to start the second inning to tie it. Out of play.
Good breaking ball from Garza. He's got a good one tonight. I mean, the one run that he gave up was on a curveball to Diaz that he hit hard down the line. It wasn't actually that bad of a pitch. Good approach by Diaz, and scored a run, but his breaking pitch, the curveball and the slider, pretty good so far.
And he's a little late again. Fastball this time from Garza. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Holliday's such a smart hitter. Makes those at-bat, in-at-bat adjustments. Just when you think he can't turn on a fastball, he will. When you think he's out in front of a breaking ball, he'll wait just a bit. He's always had that knack. And when he hits them, they ring through this stadium.
Brewers coming inside on him. That's where you got to pitch him, but don't miss.
Runner goes. Lucroy's throw to second, right on the mark. The tag is in time, and we got a called strike 3. We do.
Yep.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's a strikeout, not a caught stealing. Either way, the inning was going to end, and it's another scoreless frame for Garza. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Beautiful shot. Summertime in St. Louis, the old courthouse. All making up the downtown vistas here in St. Louis, Missouri. All tied at 1. Our Carsoup.com trivia. Which 4 Major League Baseball teams did Mike Matheny play for? And you could go to Baseball Reference and cheat. Just see if you can come up with them first. You know he was a Cardinal and you know he was a Brewer. We'll give you 2 of them.
Yeah.
There's a strike to Jonathan Lucroy starting this 4th inning. Lucroy struck out with a runner at 3rd in the 1st. Brewers got one in the 2nd on a Carter homer and 3 hits against Garcia. Lucroy on the ground to Carpenter. That'll be out number 1. Well, obviously Garcia has the sinker going. He's getting a ton of ground balls to his middle infielders right now.
There's 7 ground ball outs.
6 of those have been ground balls to the shortstop, Diaz. Here's Carter. He swung at the first pitch and launched one out of here in the 2nd. Garcia starts him with a fastball.
Yeah, down in the dirt. He's trying to get some sink on that fastball to Carter that time. And
Carter in the 2nd leading off, sitting on 19 home runs and did not miss. Right down the middle, 423-foot homer into center field.
that one didn't sink. Straight as a string.
Carter with 20 now. He leads the club. What a year he's having. Still striking out more than he wants, more than the Brewers had hoped, but he's given him a lot of power, a lot of production. He's got 49 RBIs now. Not even to the halfway point yet.
Yeah, that happened Sunday. This is game 79 tonight.
And Carter draws the walk. So a man on with one away for Hernan Perez.
Hey, the Crew returns home next week to face the division rival Cardinals again, Friday, July 8th through Sunday the 10th, in a jam-packed weekend series featuring a free shirt Friday, Ghostbusters Day, and a Bob Uecker talking alarm clock giveaway. Reserve your spot at Brewers.com. Did you bring your clock?
I did not. That's a bit for a home game. But I am going to start traveling with that Bob Uecker alarm clock. And Bob Uecker's here on this trip, so we could just ask him to do it live for us maybe. As Perez takes a strike.
I know how much fun you have. You play with that thing a lot.
Yeah, well, I like setting it off. You're right. And I like setting it off with the ringer too. It's not just
right. Old time.
Either
old
way,
school.
I mean, it gives you 2 options.
The old school alarm clock.
I don't like the new alarm clocks on the smartphones. Those are annoying. I would like to wake up every day to Bob Uecker yelling at me. I mean, that's happened in the past. Perez, last time up, reached on an infield hit. And a little tapper. Garcia plays it and can't get the handle. And Perez will reach again. That's going to be another infield hit. That ball had a lot of spin on it, and you could see it roll up into the glove of Garcia, and he never found a handle.
And he tried to get rid of it too quickly. Never did get a grip on the baseball, and finally dropped it. A little panic setting in. If he picks it up the first time and makes a throw, he's got him. That baseball does have a lot of spin, but still, that'll be an E1.
Yeah, scoring that as an error. I don't know. For me, that is out of the realm of ordinary for a pitcher. But an error is the call, and the errors continue to add up for the St. Louis Cardinals.
And number 63 on the season. Leading all of baseball.
The most. Hard to believe. All right, so the Brewers with 2 on and 1 out. Here's Jeanette. Jeanette lined out in the second. He hit a bullet to third. Cardinals have Johnny Peralta covering that hole over there with Jeanette, the only lefty in the lineup tonight. Got a chance to play run producer here. And a ground ball gloved by Carpenter goes to second for the out.
Wow, how about that play? Goodness. Boy, that is a risky throw by Matt Carpenter, but he threw a strike over to Diaz. Boy, that's a nice play. That's what makes him so valuable. He makes good plays over at third, and now as a second baseman. A lot of guys just going to turn around and get the out at first, but he gets the lead runner at second. Well, the Brewers now with first and third and 2 outs. Terrific play by Carpenter.
They're showing good range at second base. So 2 gone, and here comes Broxton now, Keon Broxton. I'm looking forward to the potential Broxton matchup with Cardinal reliever and former Brewer Jonathan Broxton. No relation.
No.
Similar builds.
Yeah. I think Jonathan's got him by about 100 pounds, doesn't he?
Keon is half of Jonathan Broxton.
Right.
First and third, big spot for the 8th place hitter, and he shows bunt. Not a bad idea. Johnny Peralta playing very deep at third base.
I'd be surprised if Garcia gives him anything to hit here. Why would you, right? You got Garza on deck. You just went through his career batting average. This is one of those times maybe you want to expand your zone just a little bit, put it in place, see if you can get a base hit.
Changeup.
Yeah.
Good one. 2 balls and a strike.
He's got a terrific changeup when he puts it out there, right on the corner.
We'll see what he does. 2-1. Missed inside. 3 balls and a strike now.
Don't be surprised he throws another changeup. Changeup on a 3-1 count. That's what I'd be looking for here. Of course, I was a .240 career hitter, so don't listen to me.
No, I think it's a great idea. Keon, sit on the changeup. What'd you hit?
Yeah.
.240.
Fastball. That's why I hit .240. Although .240 these days isn't so bad, right?
Man, that'll get you paid.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be stuck up here with me every night.
I'd still be up here with you. Love it.
So full count. Runner's going to go at first. Jeanette will get the head start. There he goes, and it's down and in, ball 4. So that's a lot of work for a walk. Good work by Broxton to be patient.
Yeah, he didn't really want, to give him anything to hit. Although the 3-1 fastball was a good pitch to hit.
Well, the bases are loaded now, and the Brewers' secret weapon is coming up, Matt Garza, who's 1 for 5 this year. 0-2 on Garza. Been a couple of walks in this inning. There has been an error. But Garcia has been navigating through the bottom of this order. And he's got himself a way out of this frame with the pitcher at the plate. They're all ready to run. Garza hoping to put one in play. And strikes out. 2 in the inning. Molina steps on the plate to secure it. Side retired. Garcia picks up his second K. Still tied at 1.
Remain tied at 1 apiece as we move to the bottom of the 4th here in St. Louis. Time to check in with the crew in the community. Join Brewers pitcher Matt Garza and his teammates for the Brewers Bowl-a-thon on Sunday, August 14th. Enjoy a silent auction and bowling with Brewers players while raising money for Maida House, which offers substance abuse treatment services to help women reclaim their lives from the effects of drugs or alcohol. Sign up today at brewers.com/bowling.
All right, Telly, thanks. Good work by Matt Garza. That bowl-a-thon raising a lot of money and awareness for Maida House. Great cause, great program they have over there. Beautiful night in St. Louis. Boy, how about that? It is July 1st, and the temperature is in the low 80s in St. Louis, Missouri.
No humidity. Nice.
We've been here on a July 1st before, and it's been 100 with 99% humidity, right? Expecting some rain tomorrow and Sunday. We'll see about that. It never rains on the Brewers, especially when that guy's here. Another way to represent.
We're talking biblical rain.
And by they,
the experts.
The experts. We don't acknowledge them. We've become pretty good forecasters up here in our years in the booth.
Yeah,
I think
we're pretty good at it.
I mean, you know, we got a high perch. We're seeing a lot of the cloud cover. Garza starting with Brandon Moss at the plate. First pitch curveball in there for a strike.
Well, we will be up in the clouds in Washington.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we could say we see the games in Washington, D.C., but we watch them just like you do. Ground ball to first. Carter to the bag, and Garza retires the first man he faces in the 4th. Trivia question coming back at you, courtesy of Car-Soup. Mike Matheny's in it tonight. 4 Major League Baseball teams did Matheny play for in his career. He said Brewers, Cardinals, Giants, and Blue Jays. A lot of people don't remember his time with the Blue Jays.
One of the toughest guys I've ever seen behind home plate. I mean, you know, most catchers are tough, but I tell you, you don't want to mess with Mike Matheny back there, blocking the plate. You know the old story where Rich Loizell from the Pirates hit him in the face with a pitch. Never went down. and caught the next day. Tough guy.
He got ejected last night for the first time this year. He's pretty soft-spoken, but as a manager, but he can get fired up quickly. His stop in Toronto was between his stops in Milwaukee and St. Louis. He had 1 year with the Blue Jays in '99.
Yeah, same thing happened to the Cardinals last night that happened to the Brewers early in the season.
Now, how do we explain that? So it was an end of an inning review, but the problem was there was no immediate ask for a review, or at least an ask by Ned Yost, the Royals manager, to hold play real quickly, hold the players on the field to then see it. It only came up because it appeared to me that somebody in the Royals clubhouse said, well, I think he was safe, and then they came out. It was on a double play ball, Salvador Perez, and very same thing happened against Milwaukee and the New York Mets. And Mike Matheny, you could just see it brewing, and a lot of it had to do with the way the Cardinals were playing. So it looked like it ended the inning. They went to a review. Safe was the call. They extended the inning. Problem was the Cardinals were already in the dugout. The Royals were already on the field.
Well, same thing happened. Exactly what happened to the Brewers, and it cost the Brewers a game. And yeah, Mike Matheny, I guess if you're in Major League Baseball, you got to clean that up. I mean, that's not right. I think it was what 45 seconds after the play that they decided to review it.
That they came and asked, right? And I think the one comment that Matheny made is the one that's a little bit troubling, and that's the area I think you have to clean up. That's a hot ground ball. Look at this play by Hill, and the throw at first not in time. Beautiful catch and throw on the hot grounder, but Peralta able to leg it out, and a base hit, infield hit with one out in the fourth.
Well, he's impressive, as Aaron Hill. I mean, he is a tremendous defender. Check this out. Let's check this play. This ball's by him. Able to snare it, get up, and make a throw. Peralta able to beat it, but still a terrific effort. He doesn't get to this baseball. That's a double. It gets to it, makes a good throw, but Peralta beats it. Guy just doesn't make any mistakes on the field. Yep, he's safe.
Close call, great effort. One away from Matt Adams, a strikeout victim his first time up. And Garza's got it. Gets to it, underhands it to first, totally off the mark. And Adams will reach. Garza would be better served just letting that one go. His instincts certainly take over, but he just simply cannot throw a ball to first base.
Yeah, let that one go. It's probably a double play the way the Brewers had their defense, and as it stands, an underhand flip off the mark and an infield hit and an error by Garza, and the Cardinals are set up nicely here in the fourth inning.
Garza gets charged for the error. Both pitchers have committed errors tonight. 2 on, 1 out. Just to finish up the thought about the review that went to the end of the inning, the one thing that came out of Matheny's press conference was that the home plate umpire said, I would extend the same courtesy for you. And I think that's really maybe the problem right now. Is it the courtesy, or are we asking our managers to make better, quicker decisions? That's kind of what we do when it's not the end of an inning.
Well, that's not the rule, though.
Right.
It's not the rule. I mean, they're going against the rule. They need to go with the rule. 30 seconds.
Now it's burning hot now. 2 on, 1 out. And Chris Maloney, third base coach, wants to talk this over with Molina.
I'm not sure what that conversation's about. There's one out. You know that Molina's not going to be bunting, so giving him the hit sign here.
This is the if you're a conspiracy theorist, this is the moment where you say Maloney just told him that the runner at second has the signs. That'd be the only thing I could think of. Why else would he?
A little obvious, right?
Want to talk to him. And a shot. Base hit on the first pitch. And a run's going to score. The Cardinals take the lead. On the first pitch, Molina singles to center and an RBI. 2-1 Cardinals.
Yeah, you open the door for these guys and they're going to crash right through. I mean, 2 errors for the Brewers in the game. The error by Garza has cost them dearly. Well, a base hit by Molina. He does that better than a lot of guys. I mean, he's very good with runners in scoring position and comes through again. Hit one hard his first time up the right and a line drive into center to drive in a run this time.
What looked like a potential double play ball to get him out of the inning. Off the bat of Adams. Garza commits the error and now a base hit. A run is in, still just 1 out. Tommy Pham, the batter. Pham has great speed. He's a tough guy to double up. He's got to hit one right at an infielder. Got the pitcher coming up next, so the way out of this mess for Garza is this hitter right here.
Now on the flip side of it, not very good speed on the bases for St. Louis. You know, base hit, you might have a play at the plate. You got Adams and Molina on the bases.
2 on, 1 out. 2-0 the count. And he goes. A swing for Pham. Been 3 errors in this game. The Brewers have 2. Cardinals have 1. Both pitchers have committed errors, and the Brewers shortstop Villar with an error last inning. Didn't hurt Garza. Had to throw a few extra pitches, but he ended up striking out Holiday to end the inning. Missed with it, a little bit low, maybe inside. 3 balls and a strike now. Not by much. Fox Tracks had it just off the plate.
Yeah. Borderline inside and borderline low, and didn't get the call.
Two on, 1 away. Got a hitter's count for Pham. Lucroy setting up inside, and Pham was late on a 3-1 pitch. Pham shot that one into the netting right above his starting pitcher. Wants a changeup. Now Pham steps out.
Not sure why you throw a changeup after he fouled your fastball off like that. Barely getting it to the Cardinal dugout. Almost doing him a favor by throwing a changeup here.
Let's see what he does.
Coming inside, fastball.
And he missed. And the bases are loaded. That's one that got away from Garza. That was an out he needed. Now the pitcher Garcia is coming up, who handles the bat pretty well. He's a guy that typically puts a ball in play, although he did strike out his first time up. But he's a pretty good hitter for a pitcher. Garza trying to put the lid on this 4th inning. 1 run is in, 2 hits, a walk, and an error. Bases loaded, full of Cardinals. And it starts Garcia with a breaking ball.
Yeah, breaking ball, good block by Lucroy. Respecting Garcia's ability to hit right there. And now he's behind the Cardinal pitcher. Good block by Lucroy. And now if you're Garcia, you know a fastball's coming here with the bases loaded.
And a shot. Base hit. Adams is in. Molina will stop around third. And the wheel keeps moving for St. Louis. They're up 3-1. The pitcher Garcia with an RBI single.
They start him out with a curveball. Then Garcia knew he was going to get a fastball and barreled it up. Well, he hit that one hard on a fastball away and drives in a run. Cardinals up 3-1. And now you got real problems with Matt Carpenter coming up with the bases loaded.
Derek Johnson, the pitching coach. Quick trip to the mound for DJ. So Carpenter coming up, bases loaded, 2 runs already in. That error Garza committed is a huge one in this inning. Completely changed the complexion of the inning.
Could have got him out of the inning. It was probably a double play ball with Adams hitting the baseball.
And now Garza in survival mode. Carpenter has an infield hit and then hit one deep to center field, sent Broxton back to the warning track his last time up. Carpenter has only grounded into 2 double plays this year. But Garza desperately needing one here to get out of this inning.
Good pitch inside right there.
In the air to right, Perez playing deep, can't get it, base hit. Pham's going to stop around third, throw comes all the way through. It's 4-1 St. Louis. Carpenter with his 2nd hit of the game. It's an RBI single. The bases are still loaded with 1 out.
Yeah, tried to double up on the fastball in. Carpenter took the first one and maybe looking in there on this one, same pitch, and he hits it hard into right field. Well, the inexperience of Hernan Perez means he's going to be playing a lot deeper. Look how deep he is and not able to get there. But a good throw into the infield, to minimize the damage to 1 run on that base hit.
Now it's Diaz. Has been swinging early in the counts against Garza. Garza just can't get his curveball over right now.
Yeah, like he was earlier in the game. First couple of innings, he had a good one. Good curveball, good slider. And now he's missing with it early in the count. And then the Cardinals are sitting up there looking fastball.
And Garza trying to ramp it up a little bit. Misses up and away. 2-0 the count. Matt Holliday's on deck. 8th batter of the inning for St. Louis. The inning started with a pretty harmless out. Brandon Moss, a little roller to first. Three 3-0. Jan Marinez loosening in the Brewer bullpen. And Garza coming to the end of the line here shortly.
Yeah, not the way you want to start a road trip with a short start.
22 pitch inning thus far. 3-0 the count. And Diaz swinging 3-0, cuts and misses.
On the pitch off the plate. Got a break right there. That was ball 4.
Good numbers in the runners in scoring position for Diaz. Touch lower than his season batting average. But he's the Cardinal leader with runners in scoring position at 303. VR covering the hole out there at short. Strike. Got a fastball right on the edge.
And the bottom of the zone. Diaz thought it was ball 4. Looked like he was running to first base before that ball actually crossed home plate. Got a break there. That's the second time that Garza's gotten a break in this at bat by Diaz.
Count is full now. 1 out in the inning. And a called strike 3. Diaz is rung up, and he's got a few parting shots for Jerry Meals. That's a huge out for Garza, the second out of the inning.
Well, if the one before was a strike, you knew this one was going to be a strike. That was right down the heart of the plate, and with the bases loaded, I can't imagine why a guy that can swing the bat like Aledmys Diaz would take that. Same pitch, it was a strike before that. You know, and the funny thing is, he swung on a 3-0 pitch. It wasn't even a strike, number 4.
4th strikeout for Garza. 9th batter of the inning now. Matt Holliday with the bases loaded. On the ground, foul. It's just one of those innings, Garza. It's really the fastball is the only pitch he has been able to throw strikes with.
And he's located it pretty well, in all honesty. I mean, those fastballs to Diaz were pretty good pitches.
Breaking ball on the ground, up the middle, a base hit. Shift was on. Holliday beats it. 2 runs are in. And the Cardinals have opened things up here in the 4th inning. 6-1 St. Louis. It's a 5-run inning.
And they batted around. That was a curveball. You can see where VR is playing. He's way around toward the hole. No chance for him to get there. And into center field, a big 2-out hit for Matt Holliday. He's made a living doing that.
And a spot where the shift hurt the Brewers. Holliday now with 49 runs batted in, his first hit of the night. First and third now. And here's Brandon Moss, who started this inning with a ground out. 5-run inning, 6-1 St. Louis. Probably Garza's last hitter. If Moss reaches, Marinez is ready in the bullpen. It's a high pitch count inning for Garza. Wow, big swing by Moss.
Took a little off, right? Pulled the string a little bit, had him out in front.
Of the 6 runs that are in, 3 are earned, 3 unearned. And Garza's error is the big play in this game off the bat of Matt Adams. That came with 1 out and a runner at first. Two and 2. I think Moss broke his bat.
Yep, down on the handle, and he's going to go with the all black bat. Maybe that's going to work better.
Perhaps there's a hole in it. Two to Moss. Garza wants to start over with the signals. Well, what a disaster inning for Matt Garza.
An infield hit error after one was out, and then nothing good happened after that.
And Moss, a strikeout victim. Lucroy secures it at first. The inning finally ends, but the Cardinals score 5. 6-1 St. Louis. We go to the 5th. Scored 5 in the 4th inning. Say in recognition of this July 4th weekend, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with The Mission Continues, empowering veterans who are adjusting to life at home and finding purpose through community impact. Visit foxsportsupports.com to learn more. Sun setting in St. Louis on a Friday night. And Craig Counsell back to the drawing board as Matt Garza, with his worst performance of the season. Be interesting to see if Garza comes back out for the 5th inning. 5 runs scored. Only 2 of them were earned. But they all count, and the Brewers are looking up now 6-1 as we go to the top of the 5th. Jonathan Villar leading off. He'll be followed by Hill, then Braun.
Yeah, coming into that start, first 3 starts for Garza, giving up a combined 5 runs. Already 6 runs here in St. Louis through 4 innings.
Villar looking for another infield hit, taking a shot at it. Well, it frees up Jaime Garcia a little bit. Garcia had his best ever game against Milwaukee on April 14th through a 1-hit shutout against him here at Busch Stadium. And he's hoping this is an injury-free year. He has been unable to avoid the disabled list each of the last 3 seasons. Ground ball to third base. Peralta takes care of Villar for out number 1. Garcia in that game in April looked like the high ceiling Jaime Garcia that the Cardinals had it towards the end of last year. I mean, when he pitched like this with 13 strikeouts and 1 hitter, suddenly the Cardinals are thinking, wow, if he's healthy, He's one of the elite left-handers in the game, but keeping him healthy has been the problem.
Right, yeah. A lot of different things have put him on the shelf, but yeah, when he's healthy, he's a very serviceable left-handed pitcher. He's got great stuff. He's a good athlete, fields his position well, and problem is just hadn't been able to stay on the mound enough.
He's had a ton of shoulder problems. He had that thoracic outlet surgery, which is the removal of a rib to allow more blood flow to that shoulder. That was at the end of the 14 season, actually middle of the 14 season, and it knocked him out in the first couple of months of the 15 season last season. But then he came back last year and he pitched really well for St. Louis. He was a big part of their 100-win season last season. They won the division. Had one start in the postseason against the Cubs in the NLDS and only lasted 2 innings. Took a loss in that game. Cubs beat the Cardinals in that series in 4.
Man, last year he was on the disabled list with a groin injury. Yeah, shoulder, groin, and whatever it is, it's kind of frustrating for the Cardinals. See what he can do when he's healthy.
Aaron Hill draws the walk. That's the 4th walk. Make it the 3rd walk, I beg your pardon, issued by Garcia. And a base runner for Ryan Braun, trying to extend a hitting streak tonight. 11 straight for Braun. On the ground to short, Diaz to second. Carpenter's turn, not in time. Braun able to beat it out. Extends the inning.
Another ground ball for Jaime Garcia. Hasn't allowed a ball in the air since the 2nd inning. That Kean Broxton fly ball to right. Everything else has been on the ground. And when he's right, that's what happens. Gets a lot of ground ball outs, needs good defense, and Braun barely able to beat it at first to keep the inning alive.
Matheny content with the call. 2 outs with Braun at first for Lucroy. Yesterday the Brewers lost 8-1 to the Dodgers. Find themselves down 6-1 in the first game of this road trip. 3 here in St. Louis. Then the Brewers go to D.C. to face the first place Nationals for 3. Boy, that had some serious sink on it.
Big time changeup. Breaking pitch, then changeup to get ahead of Jonathan. It seems like he's having a difficult time picking up the baseball on Garcia tonight.
Looked more like a wiffle ball than a baseball.
Yeah, that one had some big movement on it.
Cardinals have been a tough draw for the Brewers this season. They are 2-4. 7th game of the season series here tonight. And Lucroy, a swing and a miss. Down he goes. Back-to-back changeups. Scoreless inning for Garcia. Shutdown inning after his team got him 5 last inning.
15, 20 years ago.
Like mid-90s logo. Greg
Wow.
Vaughn would be happy with that.
Come on. Hey, there's another Free Shirt Friday coming up at Miller Park a week from today, as all fans in attendance for the Brewers series opener against the Cardinals. We've got a Hank Aaron player tee featuring the baseball legends. Number 44 on the back, courtesy of 94.5 KTI Country.
That is clearly the worst logo the Brewers have had. Because they've had some great logos, but that one.
Now, if you're a conspiracy theorist,
yes,
you would think that the Cardinals are doing that on purpose.
I think they might be. I'm always a conspiracy theorist in here. Tony La Russa taught me that coming to St. Louis. I'm looking for blinking lights, flashlights, the Hall of Fame manager,
Ribbon boards lit up,
whatever it took. Johnny Peralta leads off for the Cardinals. After a 5-run fourth, they lead 6-1. And that ball's hit deep to right. Perez back to the wall, and he's got it for the out. One of the advantages of playing deep, easier trips to the fence, and Peralta has an extra base hit taken away.
He's giving a look out to Perez, saying, how deep are you playing? I hit that ball well. It stayed in the ballpark. But again, Hernan not very comfortable in the outfield quite yet. Plays deep and makes that one look pretty easy. Up against the wall and right.
Big swing by Matt Adams. Reached on an error in the fourth. That's the big note in tonight's game. That was a inning changing moment for Matt Garza on a ground ball that looked like a double play ball, whether it be Garza fielding it, throwing it to second to start one, which he rarely does, but instincts tell you to make a play. If that ball goes through, looked like Brewers had an infielder right there. Jeanette was in range, but you can't argue with a pitcher on the mound trying to make a play. That's not something you could usually allow to pass by.
Yeah, but with even if he knocks it down and gets you out at first, the complexity of the inning is much different.
Yeah, you're right.
Man at second, 2 outs, and Garza's got a different feeling about the inning.
Well, now he's tasked with trying to give Counsell some innings in this one. Pitch count's in decent shape. You're trying to keep the bullpen fresh for the rest of this series as Adams walks. Garza had one 3-up 3-down inning in the second. It's his third walk. Yadier Molina, he had a big hit. Single and an RBI last inning. Cardinals brought 10 men to the plate in the inning.
Not sure why he's throwing over with Matt Adams over there at first. I doubt that Matt Adams is going to try and steal a base.
Umpire asked Garza to tuck his shirt in. Thought he was going to go with Steve Lyons there for a moment. Drop trowel in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know why he turned around though and faced center field. There's more cameras out there than there are from the other angle. On the ground to short. Villar's got it. Fired to second. Jeanette. His throw is at the line. And the Brewers cannot turn a double play to win the innings. Just an ugly performance defensively by the Brewers right now.
Just a bad throw by Jonathan Villar. When you have Adams going to second and you got Molina running to first, you know you've got all kinds of time. And even with the bad feed for Jeanette, he still had time to make the throw over to first base.
Does Jeanette need to run away from the bag like that? I think he's trying to clear himself of Adams, but
right.
It didn't look like the throw.
And then Molina doesn't touch first base the first time. It's a crazy looking play. Well, the throw is off the mark. That disrupted the timing and then scooted Jeanette. I guess tried to get his feet underneath him. Took him a little bit too long and got off a bad throw. No error on the play, but certainly a double play that should have been turned.
2 outs. Here's Tommy Pham. Drew a key walk last inning. Garza trying to grind his way through this one. His 4th start since coming back from the disabled list. 2-2 to Pham. Garza's in the 3rd year of a 4-year deal. At the time he signed the deal, it was the largest contract for a starting pitcher in Brewers franchise history. It had previously been set by Jeff Suppan. Full count. Two outs in the inning. Molina's going to get a head start at first. On the ground, Villar scoops it up. Got to hurry the throw. It's low, but dug out by Carter. And the inning is over. Scoreless inning for Garza in the 5th. Good bounce back. Beautiful Friday night in the Louvre. Up as well. 6-1 St. Louis. We're going to the Brewer half of the 6th inning now. And Chris Carter will lead off. He fronts the Powerball home run leaderboard. He hit his 20th earlier tonight. A solo home run to start the second. Braun's got 13. Lucroy with 10. And the Brewers are going to need to stack up some of those home run totals if they're going to come back tonight. They're down 6-1. Has not been a pretty game defensively for the Brewers. Garza having a tough go of it on the mound. So Carter, then Perez, followed by Scooter Gennett. Cubs are having one of those nights in New York tonight. The Mets lead the Cubs 10-1 in the bottom of the fifth inning. And they had a long rain delay to get started in that game. Jacob deGrom pitching well for the Mets. Jason Hamill gave up 10 earned runs in 4 innings, Rock. Ouch. And his ERA only went to 3.45.
Right, that's how good he's been, right?
10 earnings in 4 innings.
Well, even the best teams are going to go through stretches where they're not playing all that well. The Cubs right in the middle of one of those stretches right now. Got a little bit of a cushion to work with, though.
Cubs with a big lead, best record in the majors, and a big lead in the division of 11 games, the largest lead of any division leader, leading the Cardinals. Ten to 1, bottom of the fifth inning at Citi Field in New York. The Brewers' next opponent, the Washington Nationals. They are in extra innings at home against the Reds tonight. 2-2 game there. Carter a swing and a miss. Down he goes on strikes. Out number 1 in the 6th.
A couple of change-ups off the corner, then came with a fastball up and in, and that's pretty good pitching that time.
One away for Garcia.
Well, you can still get 91 by these big league hitters if you really make them aware of outside, like Garcia seems to be able to do on a consistent basis with that changeup. Good location on the fastball. Again, he's thrown a lot of ground ball outs tonight.
At the plate, presented by Wendy's for Perez. There's that changeup. Garcia with 10 ground ball outs tonight. He's got 4 strikeouts.
2 fly ball outs came in the second inning. Line drive off the bat of Gennett and a fly ball to right by Broxton. And the one big fly ball that Chris Carter hit.
Breaking ball called, strike 3. Perez is rung up. Back-to-back Ks for Garcia. 5 strikeouts now.
Slider. Hey, he's mixing them all up now. He's throwing everything up there. That one right at the top of the zone. Not exactly a great pitch, but it worked out pretty well. Perez not looking for that pitch.
2 up, 2 down. The last 3 outs have been via the strikeout for Garcia. He'll face Scooter Gennett now with 2 away. Scooter's 0 for 2. On the first pitch, Peralta makes a play to end the inning. Brewers go quietly in the 6th. 1, 2, 3 for Garcia. 6 innings for him, just 1 run allowed.
Time of the game winner, the Spot Bar in Cumberland, if they call the Brewers, by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. They get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin. And Miller Lite looks like he could use one.
Looks like he might have had one or a few. Standing there with his jersey, he's holding strong.
Waiting for something to cheer about.
Waiting for something to turn around on that field. The Brewers are down 6-1 in a sea of red. A Brewers fan staking his claim to his seat. Garza just threw his 90th pitch. It all kind of fell apart for him in that 5-run fourth inning. And it's not like the Cardinals are driving the ball on Garza, but a lot of self-inflicted wounds in that inning. And a couple of seeing eye hits. Garcia actually had a rocket, maybe the hardest hit ball of that fourth inning. There's a strikeout. Lucroy blocks it and will secure it at first for out number 1. The unraveling of the fourth. Inning started with a routine out, and then with a man on, Garza couldn't make the play, struggles throwing the ball to first base, and then Molina with a hard hit ball to center. Garcia had a hard hit ball for an RBI. Carpenter got one down the label but drove one in, and then that 3-hopper made it through to plate 2 by Matt Holliday.
And the fact is, putting the ball in play with men in scoring position, that's what the Cardinals do, right? I mean, they kind of shorten up their swings. They put the ball in play. They've been very good with runners in scoring position tonight. Every one of their at-bats with a man in scoring position came in that fourth inning. 4 for 6 in the fourth, to give themselves a 6-1 lead.
Carpenter has 2 hits tonight, drove one in that fourth with a single. John Mabry, the hitting coach, he's like what he's seen tonight. Matter of fact, Cardinals are swinging the bat pretty well. They're among league leaders in runs scored. They're second in home runs. Their offense is the reason that they've been able to stay above 500. And when they get good pitching, they're tough to beat. There's a high drive, deep right center field. Perez at the wall, and he's got it for the out. My goodness.
Yeah, second time for Carpenter tonight.
Carpenter cannot believe that he has not hit 2 home runs in this game tonight. Look at the reaction by Molina.
He had a deep fly to center that stayed in the ballpark, and this one, I think he thought for sure that this was out of the ballpark. Into that Cardinals bullpen, but nothing doing. Perez able to go back and catch it up against the fence.
There's got to be some wind blowing in through that center field to right center field area, because Carpenter, you don't see much expression out of him anyway, but you could tell by his reaction that he thought he got both of those. Nothing to show for it.
No. Just to hang with him. Well, the reaction on the first one to center, he hit first base and got upset. This time he was able to get around first base and upset again. Yeah, that's about as much as you're going to see out of Carpenter, right? I guess it makes up for that hit in the first inning. A little jam shot, check swing.
Pitchers say they all even out, but hitters never buy that. Bouncer to VR, tough hop, makes the play, and Diaz runs too well for him to get him. Infield hit. That guy can fly. And he has put the pressure on VR twice. VR committed an error in the third inning.
Well, playing deep, and he played it back to try and get the decent bounce. Bobbled it just a little bit, but Diaz able to beat it. That'll be a base hit, I would think.
Gotta be. Hit it hard.
Beats it easily. A little bit of a bobble, but I don't think that would have mattered, actually.
not that VR can charge that at all and catch it on a line. That ball was really kissed. So Diaz continues to hit, back in the starting lineup tonight after that eye injury, and he is 2 for 4 with an RBI.
Yeah, that elusive 3-up 3-down inning from Matt Garza, right? Innings just continue to keep going. He's had one 3-up 3-down inning. That was his second. That was a pretty quick inning too. Look at a 5-pitch inning.
His lone 3-up 3-down frame, it also included a strikeout. Missed with a curveball. Holiday stacking up some pretty big numbers right now. 15 homers, 47 runs batted in. He's in incredible shape. This guy just continues to stay at the top of his game, defying age.
Strong.
He
Works out a lot.
dropped 20 pounds from last year to this year. Said he wanted to be a little slimmer, a little sleeker, hoping it's going to pay off for the long season. Sometimes guys want to add weight for the season, but I think Holiday felt like he was too heavy and he was putting a lot of pressure on his joints. And there was some talk that he was going to play first base, remember, to start the year. Hit hard to center. Broxton's going back, can't get it. And this is going to play to run. Diaz will score. It's a double for Holiday. His third RBI of the night, and the Cardinals are up 7-1.
Yeah, give him an inch, right? They're going to hurt you. Man, the infield hit right at VR extends the inning, and Matt Holiday making Matt Garza pay, and it looks like Craig Counsell is going to be forced to make a pitching change. Even though Garza's due up second next inning. Hit that one like a rocket over the head of Broxton on a breaking pitch. That was a slider by Garza, and he hit it a ton into center field.
2-out RBI doubles, the end of the line for Garza. Double switch coming for Craig Counsell. When the managers go to the home plate umpires first, that tells you it's a double switch. Jan Marinez is coming in. Jake Elmore will play second. We'll set up the new Brewer hurler when we continue. The Cardinals are up 7-1. the 6th inning. Cardinals lead at 7-1. Hey, a reminder, tomorrow Baseball Night in America returns. A rematch last year's NLCS. It's the Cubs and the Mets. 6 p.m. Central on your local Fox station. And then the Yankees and the Padres will go at 8:30 Central in a game you can only see on FS1. You can watch them both live on Fox Sports Go. Jan Marinez in cleanup duty here in the Cardinals 6th inning. He'll enter the game with 2 outs and a runner at second. Holiday just drove in a run with a 2-out double.
Yeah, Marinez threw yesterday against the Dodgers, an inning and a third. Gave up a couple of hits, but struck out 3 batters in that appearance. Big fastball, good slider for Marinez.
Brandon Moss, the batter for St. Louis. Cardinals coming off their first losing month. They had a record below 500 in the month of June. First losing month since 2012. One of the more remarkable streaks they've had. 6 straight years in the postseason. Matheny's taken them 4 years consecutively.
And one of the reasons for that consistency, good starting pitching, but that's the thing that's been a little inconsistent this year.
Well, they have a model farm system as well. Player development. John Mozeliak, their general manager, very highly respected. He took over for Walt Jocketty, and they have not missed a beat here in St. Louis. They produce a lot of talent through their system. A couple of them right there, Martinez and Waka.
And we'll see Waka on Sunday.
Moss strikes out. Marinez finishes off the inning. But the Cardinals add to their lead. A double by Holiday makes it 7-1 St. Louis as we go to the 7th. It is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers. It's Miller time. Packed house over at Ballpark Village out beyond the left field wall. Good place to hang out downtown St. Louis. That is on the spot of land that used to be the spot for Busch Stadium #2. That was where that ballpark was situated. This was kind of out in where the parking lot was. Busch Stadium #3. They played originally in Sportsman's Park. They renamed it Busch Stadium, the first version, and then this is version 3. If you're following along in your stadium naming guide. And they've taken a page out of the Cubs program with the rooftops up there. They look like they're in the stadium, but they are not.
Across the street. Not a big street, but across the street in any event. You ever been in there?
I have. It's really cool.
It is.
Yeah,
Big spot. Big TVs and that Fox Sports live spot there. And
Broxton, a bouncing ball to short, and Diaz hustles a throw, and it is in time to get the speedy Broxton. Diaz has shown all of his skills here tonight. Great arm, great range, good bat, great speed.
And he's got to be quick too. He has to play it back a little bit to get the hop, and showing the big arm to get Broxton by half a step. Nice play.
With a shiner to show for it. That's what knocked him out for 3 games. Took a foul ball off that right eye. Jake Elmore batting for the first time. Came in on the double switch last inning. Can close the book on Matt Garza. This will be one for him to forget tonight. Garza goes 5 2/3, 7 runs, 4 earned. As Elmore with a base hit, rings one to center field. His first hit as a Brewer. He'd been 0 for 5 until that swing. So he's in the book.
Nice compact swing for Elmore. Not a lot of movement. He kind of picks up that front foot, puts it down, and very quick to the baseball. A base hit into center field. Veteran guy that the Brewers able to bring up from AAA.
A utility man, a super utility man, which means he can play the infield and the outfield. Top of the order here is VR.
Throw the gear on him, maybe.
I think he'd do that. He's done it before. Jake Elmore. VR tonight, 1 for 3, a couple of ground outs to go along with a single. He singled to start the game in the first inning. Jonathan's had a rough night defensively tonight, committed an error. VR with his 10th error of the season. And a swing and a miss. 2-2 now.
Yeah, change up. I mean, he's had a good one tonight. Big movement on it. And VR comes up empty.
Interesting how his back foot slipped away. Almost turning himself into a right field hitter just by the movement of the back foot. At that open stance.
Get that once in a while when you're out in front.
Yeah.
That changeup will do it to you. Boy, more changeup that we've seen this year than any other, wouldn't you say? I mean, just about everybody you see has got a decent changeup, particularly lefties.
Making a comeback. It should.
It is the pitch, the off-speed pitch. It's a good pitch, easy on the arm. Of course, a lot easier than the breaking ball, and it's very tough for hitters to pick up. Should be really the first pitch a young kid learns.
Amen.
First off-speed pitch a young kid should learn.
Yeah, I agree with you. What are the keys to a changeup? Try to make it look the same as far as spin goes.
Well, you throw it the same way as you do a fastball. You just change the grip on it. Same thing. Easy.
Don't let up with your arm speed. Just throw it, but don't have the same kind of grip on it. That's why it's hard to throw, because you're not holding it with the fingertips. As VR draws the walk, and suddenly the Brewers with some action on the bases now. 2 on, 1 out. They're at the part of the order they want to be. It's 7-1. Still some time left in this game. And we've been telling you about the Cardinal bullpen, which has really struggled in the last month. So Aaron Hill will try to get to him.
Yeah, they're starting to throw a little bit. Got a little stirring going on out there in the pen after that walk.
I believe that is Bowman loosening, Matt Bowman. Yeah, that's him. And he's getting ready quickly.
Yes, he is, not messing around.
Rapid fire. Well, Hill can turn this game around quickly here. Right back up the middle, hit the foot of Garcia. It's out to Diaz. They get the out at second, and the Cardinals turn a double play. Wow. Well, it's all bouncing right for St. Louis tonight. That might have had a chance to get into center field. Instead, it goes as a 1-6-4-3 double play. Inning over.
The Cardinals here tonight, 7-1 Cardinals as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. And you know, Aaron Hill looked like he had one ticketed for center field. Look at it, hits off the foot of Garcia right to Diaz, and they're able to turn a double play to end the inning. That would have been nice. That might have been a run in, and Ryan Braun coming up. Maybe the Brewers might have been able to get closer, but you know, the double play ends the inning.
So we go to the bottom of the 7th now. Johnny Peralta leads off. Marinez back out there. Picking up the mop-up duty tonight, trying to give Craig Counsell a few outs. Saw him pitching across multiple innings yesterday against the Dodgers. Broken bat grounded to Hill. He's got it. And the throw to first in time for out number 1. Well, there's been a lot of talk about pitchers hitting. And maybe a home run derby participant. Yesterday in Oakland, Bumgarner was the batter. There was no DH in the game with his start. Bruce Bochy said, you want to hit, you're going to hit. And he had this double in the Bay Bridge series. And Madison Bumgarner just keeps defying the odds as a hitting pitcher.
I would like to be one of the bench players that didn't get 4 at bats yesterday. I mean, there's a flip side of that. Talking as a former bench player.
Adams into center field. Broxton will run it down. Yeah, that's a great point. Bench players are people too. And even though we're entertained by Madison Bumgarner, why don't you tell us what some of the Giants bench players are thinking, Rob?
What about me? I mean, I guess the discussion for Bruce Bochy with some of his guys. Now I understand that 2 of the bench players, 2 of the 4 were left-handers. Then you had what was it, Pena? That was his name, the other guy that's on the bench.
Right.
He's more of the super utility guy, so you know, he might have needed him. So yeah, the discussion might have been, look, you know, it's nothing against you. I just need to have Bum get a couple of at bats here. Plus, he's got more pop than you do.
Nobody likes to hear somebody say this has nothing to do with you. This is about me.
Yeah, this is my issue. And
as a manager.
but again, I mean, Bumgarner hit the ball hard. It was in the center field. Now, if it hadn't been dropped, they might not have had that big inning. And
right,
they gave him a double on it. But if it had been caught, he would have had an offer. That really set up a big inning for the Giants.
Yep, Giants won the game 12-6. Bumgarner got the win. His 9th. ERA at 2.20.
But who can really dispute anything that Bruce Bochy does over there in San Francisco? I mean, everything he seems to do works, right?
Yeah, you can't dispute it for a while. He's got 3 world titles. He's won championships in all the even-numbered years.
But knowing him, you know, he probably went to each one of his bench players and explained what he was going to do. Right,
no doubt.
He did, yeah.
He's great that way.
He's a very good communicator, and I think everybody was fine with it.
He makes you feel okay with being completely ignored. Molina with another base hit. His 2nd of the game.
Just can't get that 3-up, 3-down inning, can they? They've had one 2nd inning. And Molina able to turn around a heater, a fastball out away from him, and hits it hard into center field. His 2nd hard hit ball into center.
Mariñez trying to get the final out of this 7th inning. Tommy Pham now. I'm in the crowd that wants to see Madison Bumgarner in the home run derby, just for the entertainment value of it. I think he'd fare okay. I really do. He's got some pop. Maybe there ought to be a pitcher's division of the home run derby.
Yeah, you keep saying that, don't you?
Yeah, get Bumgarner and Zach Greinke and Bartolo Colon. Oh, he could hit.
You just
Bob
don't know.
Gibson
You don't know
rake.
how many of these American League guys can hit, these pitchers, right? I imagine some of those guys could hit.
Bob Gibson could have won a home run derby in his era, no doubt. He might have scared all the other home run hitters into not hitting any, just for fear of Bob Gibson.
Right.
What a force he was. Check out his 1968 season.
1.12
Yeah.
earned run average. Unbelievable.
Base hit to right. Tommy Pham with his first hit of the night. Cardinals get back-to-back singles with 2 outs.
And Jaime Garcia is going to get another at bat. Getting on top of that high fastball, a little hitch in that swing, brings the hands down, right back up, and able to barrel it up to right field. Almost identical pitches. Hits by Molina and Pham.
Mariñez with 2 outs. 2 on now. The pitcher Garcia is up there. Garcia on the mound is only given up 1 run, a Carter homer back in the 2nd inning, allowing 4 hits. On the first pitch, hits the bag right to Carter. Fortunate there, and the inning is over. Inning in the 3rd for Mariñez. Chris Carter, he's coming up. You got Braun, Lucroy, and then Big Sleepy. lead off this 8th inning. He's trying to keep a hit streak going right now. He's hitting 11 straight. He's 0 for 3 tonight, but it has been an impressive streak, a hard hitting streak for Ryan Braun. He's hitting .409, 18 hits in 11 games, including 5 doubles and 2 homers. And in the 11-game streak, he has driven in 8.
Man, nobody hits the ball harder to right field than Ryan Braun. I mean, levels on him and hits bullets out there, and just continues to swing the bat well. Got to believe he's going to get to the All-Star game this year in San Diego. The way he's putting up numbers, certainly deserves it. You know, Lucroy's got a shot. You just wonder how many players from the Brewers are actually going to get there.
Well, Braun right now running 6th in the National League in batting. Ryan leading off this 8th inning for Milwaukee. Game turned in the 4th, a 5-run inning for the Cardinals. Costly error by Garza. And St. Louis had 5 hits to go along with that error. There was a walk. RBIs from Holiday, Carpenter, the pitcher Garcia drove one in, and Molina. Braun to the right side, a race to the bag. Garcia's there, high throw, and he missed the bag.
Yep, missed the bag. Yep.
Not a very good throw by Adams, and Braun will reach to start the 8th inning.
Man, you love the hustle by Ryan Braun to get down to first base. Would look like it's going to be a relatively routine out. And Garcia coming down, misses the bag, and that'll probably be another error.
E3 on Adams officially, if you're scoring at home.
Four errors in the game. It has not been a very tight defensive game tonight. There've been some good plays, but for the most part, especially for the Brewers, they've made some plays or missed some plays that they should have made. Not necessarily getting errors on them.
Lucroy now with Braun at first. There's not been a game in the big leagues today with more errors than what we've seen here tonight. You don't see 4 errors in a game very often in a big league game. They usually bite you. Brewers are trying to make this one count. Don't forget, tomorrow we're back at it. Day baseball here. Baseball Night in America on Fox. They have the evening window. So we go at 1 o'clock tomorrow. 12:30 airtime. First pitch just after 1 Central. And then Sunday, same time, 1 o'clock with 12:30 Brewers Live. Adjust your calendars accordingly on this 4th of July weekend. Lucroy, a shot right to Diaz. He's got it, and that is an easy double play. Lucroy hit it like a bullet, but Diaz was right there with quick hands. And starts a 6-4-3 double play ball.
Yeah, back-to-back innings with double plays. You can't hit it any harder than that. I mean, right on the button. And no chance. Cardinals do turn a lot of double plays. That's 83 now amongst National League leaders.
I always thought that was kind of a dubious number, right?
Yeah, a lot of men on.
Chris Carter now with 2 away.
Jaime Garcia out there. You know, you get a lot of ground ball outs. Cardinals now lead the National League in double plays. They just passed the Pirates. Not sure if the Pirates turned any tonight. Probably did.
They are just underway in Oakland tonight, partner.
All right.
And they're down 3-0. Been a rough year for Pittsburgh. Brewers are going to see the Pirates right after the All-Star break. It's a very uneasy time of the year for teams that have been in the postseason recently, like the Cardinals and the Pirates.
Yeah, Brewers went to Pittsburgh doing the first road trip of the year. That was back in April. I haven't seen them since.
Pittsburgh starting play today. 3 games under 500. Down early on Oakland. Carter strikes out to end the inning. Jaime Garcia 8 strong against the Brewers here tonight. Only 1 run allowed. All right, Jeff, thanks. Stan the Man. What was there not to love about Stan the Man? He got that nickname in Brooklyn, actually. They kept, every time he'd show up at Ebbets Field, they say, there's that man again. And that's how the nickname came. And there's the statue of Stan Musial that is right in front of the main gate here. And that's kind of the meeting ground for the fans in St. Louis. They say, meet us at the Stan Musial statue. There's that home run.
He knew he got it.
Everybody gets to go home. He had one of the more incredible careers in the history of the game. 22 years, and he was an all-star in 19 of those 22 years, but 1 year he was not in the major leagues because he was serving his country. And there's a lot of those stories from players back in the 40s.
Right.
That was after he had won an MVP, and then he left for a year in 1945 to serve in the military, and then came back and won the MVP award in 46, and then another one in 48.
And Ted Williams left to serve. Jerry Coleman, among others.
Great time of year to think about players like that who serve their country.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 44 World Series. They beat the Browns that year. 1944. It was an all St. Louis World Series at Sportsman Park. Only year the Browns ever made it. We used to see Stan around the ballpark before he passed. It was always just a thrill just to actually be in his presence.
You see a lot of guys, around this ballpark. And some of the greats, Bob Gibson,
Cardinals do a great job with that. They honor their legends, and they are front and center. And a lot of them are on that board right there, including Jack Buck, one of great mentor, legendary voice of the Cardinals. Carpenter draws the walk. He is aboard to start the 8th inning. There's that statue of Stan the Man, iconic image of Musial right there. The main entrance of the ballpark.
Yeah, and they got some smaller statues out in the left field corner outside of the ballpark. Well represented, their history, they're great players here in St. Louis.
Diaz now takes a strike. He's hoping to be one of the next great shortstops here in St. Louis. He's off to a great start in his career. He doesn't look like he's missing much right now. Hitting for power. He's driving in runs.
It's just a matter of whether he's going to be able to, stay consistent and do it year after year. And he's only got a half season in at this point.
He's a native of Cuba. Diaz. Cardinals signed him in 2014. Only 25 years of age. He's had a couple of seasons in the minor leagues, 14 and 15, before he was given the shot this year. Ground ball. Hill's got it out at second, over to first in time. Nice turn out there by Elmore. And a 5-4-3 around the horn double play for Marinez. Well, there are small victories in games like this if you're the Brewers. One of them is the fact that Jan Marinez has a chance to make this a 2-pitcher game for Craig Counsell with one more out.
Yeah, 2 1/3 he's looking to put up for Craig Counsell. That would be a huge boost. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, even if you lose the ball game, that is one thing that you're going to point to for tomorrow and Sunday's game. The fact that the bullpen was able to get some rest. And all this after he pitched an inning and a third yesterday.
Right.
So 2 1/3 if he's able to finish it. Inning and a third yesterday. That's a lot of work.
20 pitches yesterday for Marinez. And he threw a lot of strikes in yesterday's game. He threw 15 strikes in those 20 pitches.
Man, he's done well since coming up. Got a good arm. Gets that slider over. He could be tough to hit.
And his shoes perfectly match his gray pants. That is not easy to do. You good with the gray shoes, Rock?
Oh yeah.
Road shoes.
Yeah, they're good.
Ever fidgeting. Home plate umpire's given Holiday a minute to collect himself after that foul ball. 2-1 to count on Holiday. Look out. That might have hit a couple of people back there.
Get Jerry Meals.
Missed Holiday, got a piece of Lucroy, I think, and certainly got Jerry Meals.
Little deflection off the glove.
Oh, it's no big deal.
No, that was just a glancing blow right in the webbing.
Everybody's all right. He was looking for the ball. Wasn't looking down in English. Totally misread that situation. I'd like to have that back. 3-1. Ball 4.
You want to redo
A broadcaster mulligan.
That'd be nice.
Who's pitching tomorrow, Rock?
Yeah, Jimmy Nelson. He's starting to make some pretty good start. Last 2 times out, much better. I think that his progress has come along. Adam Wainwright, you come to the ballpark, you look at Wainwright's statistics, and you see 5.04. You think it's got to be a misprint. Wainwright having a tough time of it. 6-5, a 5.04 earned run average.
Miller Lite, what's on tap?
12:30 for Brewers Live.
Well done, Jeff Grayson. And Jeff reminded me about Stan Musial, something interesting, and I'd forgotten about this. He was a 24-time All-Star in a 22-year career, because there was a time when they played 2 All-Star games.
Right.
So
Not bad.
made the All-Star team on some level in all but 3 of his seasons. One of those seasons he was
First half and
serving
into
in the
the
military.
season.
Right.
All-Star games. Yeah. I was looking at that video of that home run. Remember the day game All-Star games? A lot of day games.
Yep.
They always play day games for World Series games.
I'm a big fan of the day game.
Yeah.
Moss on the ground, coming in Elmore. And that will retire the side. Jan Marinez, good job, man. Well done. That's a strong effort. 2 1/3 for him. Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Brewers are down 7-1. A sea of red at Busch Stadium. Has not been pretty tonight. This will be a good one to put in the rearview mirror. But it's the 9th inning. You got a chance to score some runs here. You never know. Jaime Garcia out of the game, and Rock, his 2 starts against the Brewers at Busch Stadium have been memorable for him this season.
Yeah, incredible. He's only given up 5 hits in the 2 games, 1 run, and almost able to finish this one. So 17 innings for Garcia against the Brewers at Busch Stadium, 1 run allowed, and he did not allow a fly ball out after the 2nd inning. That's how good he was. Fastballs, changeups, occasional slider. It was a clinic tonight.
Matt Bowman on the mound for St. Louis. And a big chopper. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? What a play that was. Aledmus Diaz. Man, he can just put this night in a time capsule, and whenever he's struggling, just watch this video, because he's done it all tonight.
Well, he had to charge it because he knew if he waited back, Perez might be able to beat it out. So he gets after it, gets a short hop, and able to make the play. Wow. Nice soft hands. I mean, good balance and a good throw to first base. That's a big league play right there.
What a night he's had. He has impacted this game in a lot of ways tonight, including 2 hits and an RBI double. Ramon Flores will bat with one away. New catcher in the game too, by the way. Brian Pena, who just returned from the disabled list after a knee surgery. Started yesterday's game. Picks up Molina for this last inning. Flores getting an at-bat tonight. Knocked down. Bowman makes a play for out number 2. And the Brewers are down to their last out. Keon Broxton coming up. Well, I hope you'll join us tomorrow. Hope we got some friends and family celebrating 4th of July weekend. Afternoon baseball for you tomorrow. Get the grills fired up. Have some fun on the lake. Summerfest is going on in Milwaukee as well. Big crowds out there tonight again. Great time to be alive in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah, let's hope the Brewers can get things turned around tomorrow. Last 3 games have been lopsided. Brewers won 7-0 over the Dodgers Wednesday. Lost 7-1 yesterday, and they're down 7-1 tonight. Broxton right to second base. And that'll do it. The Cardinals' 7-game home losing streak is over. St. Louis a winner tonight, 7-1 over the Brewers, and now 5-2 against Milwaukee this season. Game 1 to the Redbirds. 2 more to play. Day games Saturday and Sunday. Time now for Brewers Live as we send it to Jeff Grayson. He's in our Fox Sports Wisconsin studios. Take it away, Jeff.